Mr. Kenny, thank you very much for your time. You are the founder of Grassroots Goalkeeping. Can you briefly tell us about this initiative? When did it start? Why did you start it? And what do you hope to achieve?
Thank you for the opportunity. Grassroots Academy, I think we're in the third year now. Co-founded with Daniel Ngomane, is not here today. We had other commitments in Rustenburg, so he couldn't come through. We founded it 3 years ago. The main objective was seeing the lack of opportunities for goalkeepers. I think primarily all academies that we have, they are in fault. So the question was, what are we doing about goalkeepers? What is the opportunities that are we doing in terms of skill? Who's going to be the people to take the initiative? So that was the main reason why Grassroots Goalkeeper Academy was formed, to help goalkeepers upskill themselves and give them opportunities in the field.
Looking in the professional ranks, that will be the NFD and the PSL, the number of goalkeepers that we are importing in the country. Do you think as a country we have a goalkeeping problem?
For us as Grassrooters, as Grassroots Goalkeeper Academy, we don't feel that we have a crisis. What we feel and what we see is that there is so much talent of goalkeepers. There is a great pool, but in terms of opportunities, we're not giving them. So we're trying to bridge that gap in between, because I think at one point in time, even the national goalkeeper, the national team coach, had say we have a crisis, of which we don't have. But the thing is, in terms of age, we are always skeptical to throw the boys in the deep end. But how do we gain experience if you're not giving them opportunities to play? So such initiative and such an academy is a bridge in between the crisis that we have and the crisis that we don't think we have.
As someone who's involved at grassroots level, we know that our country, in terms of performance, and that is the national team, yes, we are not performing well, we are not qualifying for some international competitions. And some people have questioned whether maybe we are not a football nation that we think we are. Why do you think, with so much talent, we are not able to show that at the international stage in terms of Bafana qualifying and winning international competitions?
I think for me, when you involve in football, the first important thing is you must love the game and not be in the game for gains. Because if you love the game, you'll have patience in developing. Let's look at the national teams. We had lots of programs, under 23 programs, under 20 programs, with Vision 2022, which never sufficed. We had at one point in time a good under 20, but in terms of progression, are the players then progressing to the under 23? Are the players then progressing to the national team? No. Where do they fall off? Who is to blame? Is it the national team? Is it the football association? Is it us coaches? I think for me it's a collective decision. We all need to put our weights in between and make sure that the talent that we identify at a young age is groomed, it's followed up, it's nurtured, and then that gap will be bridged in between. Because if we look at the AFCON that has just been, most of the countries, their players are young, but us, we don't believe in playing the younger players. We want the old guards. So in terms of development, there is much more we can do.
Maybe you are aware, in Egypt, they do not import foreign goalkeepers as an initiative to focus on producing their own. Would you support such an initiative in South Africa, and why do you think it would be important for the development of our own talent?
I will support such an initiative 100%, because it will push and enables and say to us coaches, and the coaches being the whether PSL or NFD, play the young boys, play the youngsters. Just last week there's a crisis. Everyone is talking about a crisis at Pirates. How are we talking about a crisis at Pirates when you've got an MDC development team? We've got goalkeepers there. How do you want them to get experience? Let them gain experience by putting them in, train with the first team, give them a few minutes and there. Then we're gonna have a good foundation.
Running an academy, whether it's goalkeeping or any academy, is a very costly exercise. How are you funding the Grassroots Academy?
Very true. Running an academy, it's costly. Through my company, Ronny Consulting, company that is involved into construction, we self-fund ourselves, mainly because we believe in the talent, and we are hoping that other big businesses, corporate, will look into that and come on board and support, whether it's us, but any development, any academy that is there need support, because it's very difficult in terms of logistics. Like today, we've got talent from outside Pretoria, we've got coaches from all over that needs to be accommodated and all those stuff. So it's something that we constantly work hard on. We finance ourselves, but we're hoping one day we'll attract the right sponsors, and then we can to partner with them.
One will then ask that you start a business, and when you start a business, obviously it's to make a better life for yourself, your family, and your loved ones.
Yes.
What then motivates you to take what you make from the business that is meant to improve the livelihood of your family and take those funds and put them into developing these young boys and girls?
I think my motivation is, I believe that if you give back, you are not only building a soccer star, but you are building a future leader. That's the important thing that we need to look at it. We're building future leaders, the support that we need. It's not about making profits, it's about the little that you have, you share with somebody else, and that somebody else will have a career, be it in football, but most importantly in life.
I spotted some female goalkeepers here.
Yes.
And I must say I was happy to see that. How important is it that we open doors for young girls to be part of the sport, to get involved and afford them the same opportunities that we are affording to young boys?
I think it is very important, because women's football is evolving, and for them to have the opportunities, we need to allow them to come through the sport. Like one of the ladies goalkeepers that was here, the most important thing was for her was she never felt discriminated. I think we need to embrace them, bring them through, support them, and offer them the same opportunities as the boys, because the sport is big and women's sport is the way to go.
So, thank you very much for your time, but thank you for the effort, the passion that has led you to start this initiative. We appreciate you. I believe the football fraternity appreciates the work you're doing, and we hope that more people will take this initiative, invest in football, especially in the grassroots level. Thank you very much, sir.
Our pleasure. Thanks for honoring us.